make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up.
Welcome back to another episode of Lone Star College Football. We've got the post-game show for a rather underwhelming 3 quarters for Texas, and then a pretty exciting fourth quarter to finish the game off. Logan, were you home? Did you get to watch much of it, or were you still driving back from the Baylor game?
I was still driving back from the Baylor game for the majority of it. And then whenever I did get home, Texas decided to be, hey, man, I know other people might want to watch this game because we're number 4 in the nation. Let's put this on Longhorn Network.
Yeah, it's one of the things that all Longhorn fans have agreed on. Longhorn Network is trash. Before we get into the statistics, if y'all are checking us out, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. What y'all think about this game? All right, because very underwhelming for the first 3 quarters. In fact, I mean, what on offense? On defense, I think it was fine for the most part, considering Wyoming scored their first touchdown on their first or their only touchdown on their first drive of the game. We'll hold them to 3 the rest of the game. You're not mad at that. You know, you held a team to 10. Any team that you play holding them to 10 is pretty good. Even a team like Rice, you know, if you play a UTEP or a ULM, holding them to 10, sure, because most of the time they're going to score in garbage time. I think this Wyoming team is actually sneaky good. No way near their defense should have been able to do what they did. I'm not trying to make an excuse for how the game turned out, but I do think this Wyoming team is better than expected. They did something interesting. In fact, they did the same recipe that Rice did. If you listen to Steve Sarkisian, he said that he watched the film for Wyoming week 1 and week 2. The defense that they played against Texas was not the same defense they'd been running. They threw a curveball. They didn't start their starting quarterback, even though, from my understanding, he got banged up in the last game, but he could have played, is the way they made it sound. Maybe I'm wrong. But they didn't start their starting quarterback. This other guy come in, 17 for 28, 136, no touchdowns, 1 interception. And I will tell y'all, it was so frustrating until the fourth quarter watching him throw it to number 11 on a quick out or an out route right at the sticks. He had 8 catches for 62 yards. Every time the guy only completed 17 passes, so half of them pretty much are to this one guy, and they were all short or medium out routes. Until he tried to throw an out route to another guy, and Jaron Thompson said, "Oh, that'll be mine. Run me my 6 points."
I didn't even know that they weren't playing the starter, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah, Peasley is the starter, and they played Svoboda.
Yeah, Evan. That's what I call him.
Evan. They played Evan. I'll run through the stats, and then you give me yours since you only got to really watch that fourth quarter. Which was the best part? So you didn't miss much. There was frustrating stuff. We kind of picked up where Baylor left off. We had some offensive line penalties. We had some holdings. We had some false starts. We had a couple passes. We had a big pass. It was like 3rd and 9. Quinn throws a laser to the seam for JT Sanders. PI all day. The defensive back is in front of him. He's on him. He doesn't turn his head around. JT reaches out and almost pulls the ball in one-handed. He drops it. No flag. Pretty interesting. Okay, cool. Whatever.
Texas special.
Yeah, that's those, I guess, Big 12 refs. They hate us. Whatever. Quinn ends the day 11 of 21 for 131 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. That puts him with 8 touchdowns on the season without an interception. Happy with that. That's great. Completion percentage being just barely above 50% is not good at all. Cedric Baxter was banged up last week. They held him out. He said that he probably could have played, but they were like, there's no reason to. We've got conference play next week. Hold him out. Let him get back. Yeah, we're gonna beat them against Baylor. You know, their defensive run stuff is super solid.
Yeah.
Like Jonathan Brooks on the ground, 21 carries, 164 yards, 7.8 yards per carry, no touchdowns. The only rushing touchdown was Quinn Ewers. Receiving, Worthy, 4 for 56. He had a 44-yard touchdown. Did you see that play? It was in the fourth quarter. It was just a bubble screen, just him standing still, catch the ball. I don't even know if it's a bubble. He's probably an outside receiver. Just step forward, catch it, just runs down the sideline, and he's just faster. You take an angle, and he's just faster, and he will outrun your angle. And then on the last guy, it was a beautiful play. He's running, the guy's taking an angle, and he just takes one step and then back out. And that one step was enough to make him get off his angle to try to catch him at the sideline. Hey, speed kills in football.
Yeah, it
Speed
definitely does.
kills.
Yeah, I mean, looks like Jonathan Brooks had himself a day.
Yeah.
I mean, averaging 7.8 a carry is no joke, no matter who you're playing against.
Yeah. even with a 61-yard long, that still makes him he still had 20 carries for 103 yards. That's still 5 yards a carry, even if you take out his best run of the day. And 5 yards a carry, nobody's mad at.
That's crazy.
You probably just real quick,
Quinn,
you probably see Savion Red. Quinn did get sacked. You see, he got 2 carries. Those are Wildcat, bro. We were in a little Wildcat in this game on 4th down, both of them, and picked them up both up. So Sark has definitely taken a Dave Aranda and Joey McGuire approach to 4th down this year. I think we've gone for 7 or 8 of them this year alone. And coming out in Wildcat with Savion Red taking snaps is kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's good to see. I was just looking at Quinn's rushing stats, 2 for -5 with the 5-yard long. So I'm assuming he got sacked with a 10-yard loss. Looking at that.
He got sacked once. So probably about 10. Yeah.
It looks like y'all's offensive line actually played pretty well. I mean, forgetting about that one sack, I mean, y'all ran for 185 yards on 31 carries. So the whole team as a whole is averaging right at 6 yards per carry, only 1 touchdown, but at the same time, touchdowns were a little hard to come by, it looks like, during this game.
Yeah.
Man. How's the defense looking?
Well, before we move to the defense, to give Quinn a little bit of respect, he went 11 of 21. Off the top of my head, I can think of 4 passes that were just drops that hit the receiver in the hands. They should have caught it. I can think of 1 pass to A.D. Mitchell where he's running the slant and the ball's behind him. He does get 2 hands on it, but all of his momentum is forcing one way. So I can see that. But there's definitely 4 at least that, honestly, the receiver should have came down with it. And at that point, if you're 15 of 21, the stat looks a lot better. Maybe another, 45, 60 yards somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Stat line definitely looks a lot better. To transition into the defense, Byron Murphy, defensive lineman. You heard of that name?
A couple times.
I'll go to Texas's offensive stats and look at the receiving right there at the bottom.
Are you telling me this man caught a pass?
Byron Murphy, 1 reception.
Did y'all pull a Ben Sims?
Man, we lined this man up at fullback and ran it up the gut. He's blocking. Boom. Get stuffed. They run it again, except this time it's play action. Byron Murphy leaks out to the right. Quinn hits him. 1-yard touchdown.
Y'all pulled a Dylan Doyle. Oh, brother.
You said Benson. We pulled a Dylan Doyle. Hey, man, Coach Sark talked about it in his press conference last week. He said that, this is a game, and a lot of times the players will come up to him like, hey, Coach, can we do this? This would be fun. Can we try this? And he said that they'll draw it up and they'll practice it. And if it's working in practice, why not call it? Let the kids have fun. They called it. It worked. Hey, it's fun to see the big guy score. And then that's a perfect transition into our defense. Once again, we were flying to the ball. Jahdae Barron was the best defensive player on the field last night. Jalen Ford was right there with him, but Jahdae Barron seemed like he was in on a ton of tackles, passes defended. I even want to say he came pretty close to an interception. Ryan Watts is kind of under the radar. He's not making interception plays, but you don't see them throwing the ball at him, so he's doing really good in coverage.
Like 6'4", so I wouldn't either.
Right. Ethan Burke, who's leading the team in tackles, and David Benda, I think they're both tied. They both got a half sack. Baron Sorrell gets his first sack of the season. Tavondre Sweat gets a sack. Anthony Hill Jr. was really underwhelming coming off of last week. He had 2
Really.
sacks last week, and he didn't. This week he had 3 total tackles, no sacks. I mean, just one of the tackles was a pretty impressive tackle, but I think it was actually almost a tackle for loss on a big third down play where if he missed it, they would have probably picked up a first. Jaron Thompson was getting beat a lot. They threw the ball to the right a lot, and he was the guy when they were throwing a number 11 on those out routes. He was the guy a lot of the times you saw number 28 right there, just 2 yards behind him, not reading it, not jumping it. And then in the fourth quarter, he finally jumped that out route and caught it with a full head of steam, gunning. Scored the touchdown on the defensive side of the ball. So you love to see that. Really pretty quiet game, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like y'all kind of had the same game that I had to watch over in Waco. So, man, what happened with this Harrison Whaley kid getting 110 yards and a touchdown?
That's the guy
But one of
that's
it's 62 long, so that takes away from it.
And that was his touchdown, was the 62-yard one. And that was their first, like the fourth play of the game.
First drive. Really?
Yeah. It was like the fourth or fifth play of the game. So, I mean,
besides that, it looks like y'all did really well. Because, I mean, you take that away from the whole team, they're 37 for right under 100 yards.
If you take that one run away from him, he averages 2.8 yards per carry for the other 17 carries. So
okay,
and
I'll take that back.
Yeah, 150. They had 155 for the total day, right?
Yep.
And how many carries? 38. So we'll divide that by 37. Yeah, 2.5 yards per carry if you take that one play out. So on that side of, we feel pretty good about our run D, except for that one play, which early in the game they pulled it together and kind of made Wyoming. I will say this would be my last point. And you probably should have seen some of it since you really only watched the fourth quarter. Wyoming didn't try to win.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It was 10-10. We score 17-10, and they come out running the ball. Let's see, where did we score? We scored with well, it doesn't say. It just says the drive chart. We scored a touchdown, make it 17-10. They come out 3 plays, 7 yards. They punt the ball. We score another touchdown. They throw a pick. Because that was a pick 6. They get the ball, 3 plays, 2 yards, punt the ball. We fumble. They get the ball, 10 plays, 47 yards, running the ball. They get the ball with 6 minutes left, and they ran it pretty much every single time. Did they run one pass? Pass incomplete.
To be fair, the last drive ended with the pick 6.
Yeah, but it was just, if I was a Wyoming fan watching that, I'd have been so mad.
Oh, yeah.
Even down 31-10 with 6 minutes. Okay, coach, I get it. It's a 21 point. We're not winning it. But let's not go out clear. I mean, they wasted 6 minutes to just run the ball. I love it because it's almost like we get to win in victory formation on the defensive side of the ball. Watching them line up to run the ball is a victory formation for us. Like, you're not even going to try. You're not going to try to throw it deep. That's it's kind of pitiful for a Wyoming team that I'll give credit that I think they are better than expected. I think
they're a lot better than what they played against Shaw with their starting quarterback whenever he's healthy. I mean, he's the second leading rusher for this team. Mm-hmm. I mean, his completion percentage isn't great, but he's got 5 touchdowns to only 1 interception so far. And
they play App State next week.
And they played what we think is a pretty decent defense in Texas Tech.
Yeah, I don't know much about Tech's defense. I know that I think according to ESPN, Texas has like the number 1 efficient defense in the country or something. That doesn't mean we're the number 1 defense in the country, but it's like in efficiency which I'd be lying if I tried to explain that we have the number one defense in something. If you say number one, I was like, who? Fuck 'em. Whatever it is. Unless
Sounds
it's
good
number
either
one
way.
most underwhelming game. So, with that being said, if y'all like this video, Texas plays Baylor in a week. Easy dub, if you ask me. But if you're a Longhorn fan, you want to check it out, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're about to record that right about now. And it'll be uploaded maybe tomorrow, maybe Tuesday. We'll see. With that being said, appreciate y'all rocking with us. Until next time. Welcome.